consistently delivering value and exploring great books worldwide.
Hi, this is Sally with Talking Books. Today, we're interpreting the book Overcoming Low Self-Esteem. Self-esteem is a person's overall self-evaluation, reflecting their sense of self-worth. Psychology suggests that people with healthy self-esteem see both their strengths and weaknesses. They accept these traits while believing they're valuable and it's okay to be themselves, whereas those with low self-esteem have extremely negative self-views. They only see flaws, not strengths. They feel worthless, fearing others will dislike them if they see the real them, and low self-esteem causes many issues. People with low self-esteem often feel anxious and fearful, and some may develop depression. At work, they fear failure, avoid tough tasks, and can't achieve much. In relationships, they might become people pleasers, always accommodating others. They might also avoid socializing altogether to dodge criticism. Are you struggling with low self-esteem? Feel free to share your experiences in the comments section. The book we're covering today explores how to overcome low self-esteem for a happier life. The author, Melanie Fennell, is a British psychologist and a founding member of the Oxford Cognitive Therapy Centre. This is her seminal work, included in the UK National Health Service's recommended reading list. The book has 9 chapters and 220,000 words. Fennell analyzes how low self-esteem forms and persists and offers practical ways to overcome it. I'll break down the book's main content into 2 parts for you. First, how low self-esteem forms and is maintained. Second, how to overcome low self-esteem. First up, how low self-esteem forms and is maintained. The author notes that low self-esteem stems from critical, negative views of self-worth, like, I can't do anything right, I'm worse than others, or nobody likes me, and so on. The author calls these self-critical views negative self-beliefs, mostly rooted in early childhood experiences. Many situations make kids feel inadequate, like parents constantly criticizing or blaming them for everything, or parents always comparing kids to others, leading to insecurity, self-doubt, and forming negative self-beliefs. Additionally, if children face social issues at school, they may develop negative self-beliefs, especially during adolescence when they crave approval and care deeply about others' opinions. If kids feel too overweight, unattractive, or not smart enough, they become anxious and insecure. Some get bullied at school, making them feel worthless and lowering their self-esteem. Beyond childhood experiences, setbacks in adulthood can also damage self-worth and form negative self-beliefs. The author gives an example. Mike, a firefighter, had a happy childhood and believed he was strong and capable of handling any challenge. One day, while driving on a busy street, a woman suddenly stepped off the sidewalk. Though Mike slammed the brakes, he hit her, causing severe injuries. Afterward, he developed PTSD symptoms. He constantly relived the accident, guilt-ridden for not reacting faster. He saw himself as weak and incompetent, causing his self-esteem to plummet. Now that we've covered how low self-esteem forms, let's discuss how it's maintained. Negative self-beliefs cause pain. To avoid triggering these beliefs, people with low self-esteem create life rules dictating what they can or can't do to function. Say Shaowan's negative belief is, I'm less capable than others. His life rule might be, never make mistakes or reveal incompetence. Xiao Zhang's belief is, I'm worthless to others. His rule, fulfill every request made of him. Positively, following these rules avoids triggering painful beliefs.
Negatively, the rules sustain negative beliefs, trapping people in low self-esteem.
Because these rigid rules are unsustainable, no one's perfect or conflict-free forever. When rules risk breaking, people reinforce their negative self-beliefs. Let's take Xiao Wang as an example to see how this process happens. Xiao Wang's negative self-belief is that he's less capable than others. His life rule is to never make mistakes or expose his shortcomings. In some situations, he inevitably worries that this rule might be broken. For example, when Xiao Wang has to give a presentation to his boss and colleagues, he can't guarantee it'll go perfectly. So he starts making anxiety predictions. Anxiety prediction means overestimating the chance and severity of bad outcomes while underestimating one's ability to handle them. When anxiety predictions kick in, Xiao Wang imagines himself too nervous to speak, his boss being uninterested in what he says, or him saying something incorrect. He also believes that if these issues occur, he'll be totally ruined, mocked by colleagues, or fired by the boss. Anxiety predictions have 4 negative effects. The first is avoidance. Shawan is terrified of messing up the speech, so he decides to make an excuse to skip it. Although he avoids the fear of failing, the act of avoidance itself reinforces his negative self-beliefs. Xiaowang's I less capable than others, negative self-belief. The second effect of anxiety prediction is adopting inappropriate preventive measures. If Xiaowang still chooses to give the presentation, he might take inappropriate preventive measures to avoid problems. For instance, to dodge questions he can't answer, he might drag out the speech without leaving time for QA. Worried about seeing impatient looks, he might also keep his head down the whole time, avoiding eye contact, similar to avoidance. By taking these preventive measures, Xiaowang also reinforces his negative self-beliefs. He believes that without these measures, others would discover his lack of ability. Worse still, dragging the speech, skipping Q&A, or avoiding eye contact could all make the presentation worse. If the audience gives bad feedback, it reinforces Xiaowang's negative self-beliefs and anxiety. The third effect of prediction is performance interference. Anxiety makes one unable to focus and underperform.
During the actual speech, Xiaowang might become too anxious to speak or say something wrong.
If this happens, he won't think it's a consequence of anxiety. He feels this is his true ability, making him believe even more that he's less capable than others.
Anxiety.
The fourth effect of prediction is underestimating success. Even if Xiaowang's presentation goes great and colleagues praise him, he still won't feel happy because people with low self-esteem are really good at downplaying or ignoring their own successes. Xiaowang will think his performance was just average, and colleagues are only saying that to comfort him. Xiaowang might also believe that although he did okay, it was just luck or thanks to his precautions. Under this bias, no matter how much success he gets, Xiaowang still keeps his negative self-beliefs. You can see that the best outcome from anxiety prediction is just maintaining the status quo. If Xiaowang actually performs poorly, he'll strengthen his negative self-beliefs. At the same time, Xiaowang will have lots of self-critical thoughts, like, I'm worthless, I can't do anything right. When someone's mind is full of self-critical thoughts, they get flooded with negative emotions, which bring more self-criticism, creating a vicious cycle that can lead to depression, making basic life and work impossible. Or BNS. Okay, let's summarize the first part here. The essence of low self-esteem is negative self-beliefs. Early experiences in childhood and setbacks in adulthood can all form negative self-beliefs. To avoid triggering negative self-beliefs, people with low self-esteem develop a set of life rules. When life rules might be broken, they generate anxiety predictions, which maintain and reinforce negative self-beliefs. We've covered how low self-esteem forms and is maintained. Next, in part 2, we'll talk about how to overcome low self-esteem. The author mainly introduces 4 methods. The first one is to boost self-acceptance. People with low self-esteem often only see their flaws, so they lack self-worth. Therefore, they need to enhance self-acceptance, value their strengths, and believe they're worthy. This process can be split into 3 steps. Step 1 is to discover your strengths by making a list of positive traits. On the list, write down any strengths, no matter how small. For those with low self-esteem, this might be hard because they're used to only seeing their flaws. They don't need to finish all at once. Start with just 1 or 2 strengths, and keep noticing new ones in daily life to add later. People with low self-esteem can also ask themselves questions to discover more strengths, like, what achievements have I made in life? And not only What qualities and behaviors do I value in others? I also possess these. How would people who care about me describe me? This enhances self-acceptance. The second step is the recollection exercise. People with low self-esteem excel at ignoring their strengths. So after listing strengths, they should deepen their impression through recollection exercises to avoid forgetting. Specifically, review each strength and recall behaviors that demonstrate it. If one strength brings multiple behaviors to mind, carefully recall each one. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and vividly recall the time, place, people, and emotions involved. For example, if helpfulness is a strength, recall recent helping instances, others' reactions, and your feelings. Recollection exercises deepen impression of strengths, building confidence and self-acceptance. During practice, self-critical thoughts may arise. This is arrogant, or others could do this too, or I didn't do well enough. Ignore these thoughts and refocus on strengths. They'll fade over time. The third step in boosting self-acceptance is recording strengths. With the first two steps as foundation, they can better notice strengths in daily life. Now, combine previous steps using a strengths folder to further enhance self-acceptance. The strengths folder means daily recording of behaviors demonstrating strengths, like solving a tough problem, showing patience and focus, or calling parents on birthdays, showing filial respect. Record immediately to capture behavior and corresponding strength. Otherwise, you might forget. Before bed each night, use recollection exercises to deepen recognition and boost self-acceptance. After practicing for a few weeks, people with low self-esteem become highly sensitive to their strengths, able to immediately recognize praiseworthy behaviors instead of focusing only on flaws, significantly boosting their sense of self-worth. That covers boosting self-acceptance. Next, we introduce the second method to overcome low self-esteem: stopping anxiety predictions. As mentioned earlier, anxiety predictions maintain negative self-beliefs. If people with low self-esteem can stop anxiety predictions, it will shake those negative self-beliefs. The author breaks this process into 3 steps. Step 1 is recording anxiety predictions. When feeling anxious, they should record both the anxiety and corresponding thoughts. Record 4 key things. First, the situation. What specifically triggered the anxiety? In Xiao Wang's case, it was public speaking. Second, note the emotions and physical reactions like nervousness, fear, sweating, rapid heartbeat, etc. They should rate these feelings from 0 to 100 based on intensity. Then write down the anxiety predictions. Write down the bad outcomes they fear. Also, rate how much they believe these predictions. 0 to 100, with 100 meaning absolute certainty it'll happen. Worse still, dragging the speech, skipping Q&A, or avoiding eye contact could all make the presentation worse. If the audience feedback is bad, it reinforces Xiao Wang's negative self-beliefs and anxiety. The third effect of prediction is performance interference. Anxiety makes you unable to focus and underperform. During the actual speech, Xiao Wang might get too anxious to speak or say something wrong.
If this happens, he won't think it's due to anxiety.
He'll believe it's his true ability, making him more convinced he's less capable than others. Anxiety. The fourth effect of prediction is underestimating success. Even if Xiao Wang's presentation goes great and colleagues praise him, he still won't feel happy, because people with low self-esteem are really good at downplaying or ignoring their own successes. So Xiao Wang will think his performance was just average, and colleagues are only saying that to comfort him. He might also believe that although he did okay, it was just luck or thanks to his precautions. Under this bias, no matter how much success he gets, Xiao Wang still keeps his negative self-beliefs. The best outcome from anxiety prediction is just maintaining the status quo. If Xiao Wang actually performs poorly, he'll strengthen his negative self-beliefs. At the same time, he'll have self-critical thoughts like, I'm worthless. I can't do anything right. When filled with self-critical thoughts, negative emotions flood in, creating a vicious cycle that can lead to depression, making basic life and work impossible. Okay, let's summarize the first part here. The essence of low self-esteem is negative self-beliefs. Early childhood experiences and adult setbacks can form negative self-beliefs. To avoid triggering these beliefs, people developed life rules. When rules might break, anxiety predictions maintain and reinforce negative self-beliefs. We've covered how low self-esteem forms and is maintained. Next, part 2, how to overcome low self-esteem. The author introduces 4 methods. First is boosting self-acceptance. People with low self-esteem often only see flaws, lacking self-worth. Thus, they need to enhance self-acceptance, value strengths, and believe they're worthy. This process has 3 steps. First, discover strengths by making a list. Write down any strengths, no matter how small. This might be hard as they're used to focusing on flaws. Start with just 1 or 2 strengths. Gradually add more noticed in daily life. Ask questions to discover more strengths. What achievements have I made? What qualities do I value in others? I possess these too. How would loved ones describe me? Step 2. Recollection exercises. They're good at ignoring strengths. After listing strengths, use recollection to deepen impressions and prevent forgetting. Specifically, people with low self-esteem should examine each strength on their list and consider which behaviors demonstrate these qualities. If one strength brings multiple behaviors to mind, carefully recall each one. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and vividly recall the time, place, people, and emotions involved. For example, if helpfulness is a strength, recall recent helping instances, others' reactions, and your feelings. Recollection exercises deepen impression of strengths, building confidence and self-acceptance. During practice, self-critical thoughts may arise. This is arrogant, or others could do this too, or I didn't do well enough. Ignore these thoughts and refocus on strengths. They'll fade over time. The third step in boosting self-acceptance is recording strengths. With the first 2 steps as foundation, they can better notice strengths in daily life. Now combine previous steps using a strengths folder to further enhance self-acceptance. The strengths folder means daily recording of behaviors demonstrating strengths, like solving a tough problem, showing patience and focus. Calling parents on birthdays shows filial respect. Record immediately to capture behavior and corresponding strength. Otherwise, you might forget. Before bed each night, use recollection exercises to deepen recognition and boost self-acceptance. After weeks of practice, they become highly attuned to strengths, immediately spotting praiseworthy actions instead of flaws, significantly boosting self-worth. That covers boosting self-acceptance. Next, we introduce the second method to overcome low self-esteem, stopping anxiety predictions. As mentioned earlier, anxiety predictions maintain negative self-beliefs. If people with low self-esteem can stop anxiety predictions, it will shake those negative self-beliefs. The author breaks this process into 3 steps. Step 1 is to record anxiety predictions. When feeling anxious, people with low self-esteem should record both the anxiety and corresponding thoughts. Record 4 key elements. First, the situation. What specifically triggered the anxiety? In Xiaolong's case, it was public speaking. This process has 3 steps. Step 1 is identifying existing rules through various methods. As mentioned earlier, life rules aim to avoid triggering negative self-beliefs and prevent pain. So when someone with low self-esteem feels okay, they're usually following their life rules. They can ask, "What makes me feel okay?" The answer often reveals their life rules. If someone only feels okay when praised, their rule might be, "I must get others' approval." They can also review their recorded anxiety predictions. Anxiety predictions emerge when life rules might be broken. By noticing which situations trigger anxiety, they can identify their life rules. For example, Kate gets anxious when making requests. Her rule is don't bother others. They can also consider what behaviors in others bother them. Many judge others using their own life rules. If someone can't tolerate others' mistakes, their rule might be, everything must be perfect. Changing life rules. Step 2. Evaluate existing rules' pros and cons to find new replacement rules. Ideally, new rules should keep old benefits while eliminating drawbacks. The author gives an example. Rajiv, whose negative belief is, I'm inadequate, and rule is, must be perfect. The rule's benefit. It makes Rajiv work extremely hard to avoid feeling inadequate. The downside, it creates immense pressure, causing constant stress and anxiety. Fearing imperfection, he often abandons opportunities.
Plus, any mistake leaves him discouraged and depressed.
He also struggles to learn from mistakes. Rajiv's new rule should keep him working hard while reducing stress and anxiety, allowing a more relaxed life. If Rajiv tries stopping anxiety predictions, he'll discover that even failure isn't catastrophic. These experiences can inform new rules. Generally, new rules are more flexible and inclusive, less rigid and one-sided than old ones. New rules avoid must or should commands. Instead, they say, I can do this or that. Or, I want to pursue something, and if I don't achieve it, that's okay. Ultimately, Rajiv's new rule is, I don't need to be excellent just for the sake of excellence. I enjoy excelling, but mistakes and failures are normal. They're necessary parts of growth. This changes life rules. Step 3. Reinforce new rules. Old rules are long ingrained reflexes. So initially, those with low self-esteem must frequently remind themselves of their new rules. The author suggests writing new rules on cards or saving them in phones to review daily. New rules shouldn't stay theoretical. They must translate into action. For Rajiv, this means practicing acceptance of mistakes and imperfection in daily life. He could work less, spend more time socializing with friends, or attempt high-risk tasks where failure is likely, or deliberately make small errors to observe reactions. Through such practice, Rajiv will internalize new rules until they fully replace old ones. We've covered changing life rules. Now for the fourth method to overcome low self-esteem: building new self-beliefs. Life rules dictate how we live, what we can and can't do. Self-beliefs define how we view our worth and identity. Negative self-beliefs are core to low self-esteem. The ultimate goal is replacing them with realistic, self-affirming beliefs. While negative beliefs are numerous, using previous methods naturally builds new self-beliefs. Whether boosting self-acceptance, stopping anxiety predictions, or changing life rules, these methods positively impact self-beliefs, making people more confident and self-valued. For them, there's no need to deliberately build new self-beliefs. They're already taking root. But some with low self-esteem still need this step to complete crucial changes. Building new beliefs mirrors changing life rules. 3 steps. First, identify negative self-beliefs. Previous methods offer many chances to spot them. Like when listing strengths, self-critical thoughts often surface. These thoughts may be negative self-beliefs. One can ask, if anxiety predictions came true and life rules broke, how would others see me? How would I see myself? The answer usually reveals negative self-beliefs. Take Rajiv earlier. If he noticed imperfection, he'd think I'm not good enough. His negative self-belief was, I'm inadequate. Now, building new self-beliefs. Step 2, find kinder, more realistic new beliefs. This builds on prior methods. Through self-acceptance, they discover strengths. By stopping anxiety predictions or changing rules, they realize many fears are unnecessary. Bad outcomes might not happen. Even if things go wrong, it doesn't mean they're worthless. They can handle it. These new cognitive experiences become material for new beliefs. Using this material, they find more suitable self-beliefs. Like Kate earlier, her negative belief was, I'm unlikable. After asking store clerks, testing anxiety predictions, and other life observations, her new belief, I have likable qualities, and many people like me. Rajiv's negative belief was, I'm inadequate. After changing life rules, his new belief, I am already good enough. Building new self-beliefs. Step 3, reinforce new beliefs. Just like reinforcing new rules, identify actions that embody these beliefs and act on them. Often, these actions are also needed to reinforce new rules. Additionally, people with low self-esteem can ask themselves, what behaviors from others prove my new beliefs are valid? With Kate's new belief, many people like me, she can collect evidence of others showing affection. like friends actively inviting her to gatherings. Many remember her birthday. Through actions and observing others, people gradually accept new beliefs and fully release negative self-beliefs. Okay, to summarize part 2, 4 methods to overcome low self-esteem. First, discover and deepen recognition of your strengths to boost self-acceptance. Second, find alternative predictions to replace anxiety predictions. Test them firsthand to stop anxiety predictions. Third, evaluate pros and cons of existing rules to find new replacement rules. Fourth, build kinder, more realistic new self-beliefs based on these methods. With that, we've nearly covered everything in overcoming low self-esteem. The author presents many methods to boost self-esteem. The author also reminds us, everyone's situation differs. This book won't work for all. When suffering, don't endure it alone. Talk to family or friends. Their support can help immensely. Also, don't resist psychotherapy.
If depressive symptoms appear, seek professional help early. After this episode, what helpful methods did you find?
Feel free to share in the comments. All right, overcoming low self-esteem. That concludes our interpretation of this book. Reading notes are below the audio. See you next time.